You know, let's break down the last 12 months, and since you had your first board meeting 12 months ago, some of the immediate pushes that you wanted to get into. I think Tammy talked about on the 31st, literally within a week, you've got an event maybe here at Seacoast, is that right? And then another one on February 7th, I believe.
Actually, we have a couple of cultivation events scheduled over the next month. The first one is the 31st at the Surf Club. Is where it is here in North Myrtle Beach.
Sure.
Yes. Then we had scheduled February the 8th in Loris at the Health Center over there is what we have.
Okay, good.
And we have a couple others that we're working on right now. The event with the Chamber of Commerce is already scheduled for March the 18th is when that's scheduled.
Great. So 3 big events coming up. And what are some of the things y'all will do to help highlight the need of the Laura Seacoast Healthcare Foundation?
Well, we had a lot of different presentations where we're going to show exactly what's going to happen here. We already have renderings of the 2 buildings, renderings of the outside of the building, of course, and we also have layouts of the inside showing the people who are interested where the emergency room is going to be, the beds and everything. So we have a very detailed presentation that we're going to do at these events. And again, we want to get the community very involved in it, and of course we need their financial support is what we also need too.
Right.
Which is very important. Small hospitals do have a lot of financial problems, of course, sometimes, and problems is not probably the right word, but financial opportunities and a lot of places that we could expand things. Loris is Seacoast have been very fortunate being in the area that we're in, of course, with the expansion and the growth has certainly helped.
Oh, yeah.
Seacoast is exceeded all expectations of what we thought. Actually,
is that right?
Yes. The hospital here now, or excuse me, the Seacoast here now actually sees over 20,000 people a year in the emergency room.
20,000 just right here in this Seacoast Medical Center annually.
Yes.
That is incredible.
That's a lot of people. And the community relies on it, I mean. And it saves the community having to drive a long ways to go to have other tests and other things done. There's a lot of procedures done here. A lot of day surgeries are done here. So with the addition to the hospital, it will allow somebody to come here to stay a couple of days if they need to.
I think Tammy talked early in the week, Frank, that y'all are undertaking to raise, I mean, that $30 million will be spent. I believe she talked about $6 million to be raised or pursued by the foundation, $3 million for each of the facilities.
That's our first goal. Of course, we hope to set some more goals. We hope as we go along, because really the total project in both hospitals is $50 million is what it is.
Is
$30
that
million
right?
is actually Seacoast.
Wow.
And about a $20 million project in Loris. So that's a lot of money.
That is.
And we have set an original goal of $6 million for the foundation to raise. And we've already done some meetings in the community, and again, we have some supportive folks in the community, so we think we're going to be able to do this. Of course, it's going to take a lot of work.
It will, yes.
And there's a lot of competition for the dollar right now, too, as we both know. We both actually happen to serve on Horry Georgetown Foundation Board, right?
The Horry Georgetown Technical College Foundation, that's right. I see you've served as chairman, 2-term chairman of the North Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce, obviously being on the Tech Foundation Board now here, and even the Loris Healthcare System Strategic Planning Committee, aside from a number of other things you do. How do you do all this and continue to run your business, Frank?
Well, sometimes it gets tough. I have to run my business, it seems like, before 7 o'clock in the morning and after 9 o'clock at night, it seems like.
Yeah.
And I've probably got too involved in too many things the last few years. I probably need to shed a few of these items I'm involved in. But again, I thought that the hospital and the healthcare system was very important for the community.
Absolutely.
I've been around hospitals a lot all my life. My father was burned very severely when he was 4 years old.
No, at age 4.
At 4 years old, right. So I guess I've been in hospitals a lot of my life and so forth. And my father, really, when he was burned, we're talking about in 1922 is when he was burned. And, of course, then they didn't have penicillin hadn't even been invented. So they kind of waited a few years for him to die, and he didn't. So then they started doing medical practice on him, I guess, and procedures on him. But during, I guess, my grade school and high school years, it seemed like almost every year he was having some form of an operation.
Is that right, Frank?
Yes. We were figuring the other day, now my father died about 15 months ago, but he had 88 operations in his life, is what he had, because of the burns.
When did you say he died?
About 15 months ago. He died.
Months ago, I'm sorry.
Ago.
Yeah,
months,
right.
Yes.
Right. And you said 88 surgeries over the course of his life. My Lord.
All right. He was a lot of practicing, I guess, was done on him, a lot of procedures and so. Because in the burns, really, medical field didn't know much about that. Probably in World War II, probably when there was a lot of improvements made in that area.
Right.
The skin grafts that were done on him before that didn't take very well. They didn't do very good because there were a lot of procedures they were practicing on, I guess. Right. But maybe for that reason, I guess, is one reason I was very interested in the medical profession in Seacoast and the hospital here.
That's very important. Of course, that highlights we're here in the lobby of Seacoast Medical Center. Things going off all morning, and clearly the activity level is high at all times here on a Friday morning at 7 to see this kind of influx of folks. But it is 24/7 here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Emergency room, of course, is open 24/7.
Right.
And a lot of folks come in here. It's interesting to be here sometime and see the helicopter come in when somebody has to be transferred to Charleston or Wilmington or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of that happens now with the modern medicine that we have. A lot of trauma centers around the area where people can be transferred if it's necessary. So it's very interesting.
Frank, for you, as you think about it and as you travel up to Loris itself and back and forth and to see some of the expansion, as you've been visiting hospitals virtually your entire life, can you think about, pinpoint some of the real changes that have, of course, some of the improvements since you got active with Loris and Seacoast? It's been, the improvements have been incredible.
Oh, yes. The medical field, I mean, just simple things that we couldn't do a few years ago, we do so easy today, right? I guess if you go back a few years ago, I guess what used to make the biggest impression of me when I would go into an operating room or into the room after my father's operation was the amount of blood and so forth that happened. And of course today they control bleeding very easily with the different medications they do. It's just different.
Absolutely.
The procedures are done so much easier now. The new x-ray machines they're out there. Loris and Seacoast right now are getting a new 64 slice X-ray type machine, which again, it's unbelievable what that machine will do compared to just 5 years ago. Technology has changed so much.
Share with viewers, of course, if they were with us on Wednesday, they had a chance to spend some time with Rayford Vereen, yesterday with Mary Martin. Who are some of the other folks that make up the board? You don't have to give us all the names, but a little bit about some of the folks that serve on the board with you. All 11 of you all, I believe, from the get-go. Is that right?
We've actually added a couple since we started and so forth. A new board member is Rima Hewlin.
Yes,
she lives in the Tidewater area, so she's a new board member.
Right.
Harry Thomas, who has lived in the area by most of his life, I guess. He used to have the Toggery shop in Ocean Drive.
Right.
And his daughter has Joan Crosby there in Myrtle Beach.
Yes, of course.
But he's very active. He's been a major help with the foundation. It seems like weekly we talk about something or have a meeting to plan something with the foundation.
That's tremendous.
Dr. Ray, I think you mentioned, which is an optometrist in
Tracy
the
Ray,
Loris area. Right. Dr. Wright, which actually works for Seacoast here and works in the head of the emergency department is where he is.
Oh, great. So he can surely talk about when you have your sessions either at the surf club or there at the health and fitness center in Loris. He can really talk about the needs as directly as anyone.
And he's very knowledgeable of the area and been involved again with the hospital system for a number of years now.
Right.
He saw my mother several years ago when she had some seizure problems right here at Seacoast just after they were open. So
is that right?
He's very knowledgeable. Dennis Jones is on our board. He's actually our treasurer.
Oh, good.
So he's very involved.
Saw the vice chair, someone we couldn't get in. Who was the vice chair?
Ed Prince.
Ed Prince, exactly, right.
Ed's actually on vacation this week.
Yes,
I think he's somewhere in the islands this week.
We'd love to have him
he's
in.
Enjoying the pretty weather down there.
Particularly excited to get Rayford earlier in the week, and obviously Tim Brown to kick off. Is he also on your board?
Yes, he is, yes.
Okay, so he has a dual role there, and I understand that was pretty much his brainchild. He'd been working hard to kick that off. I'm sure you and he had talked about that for a long time.
Yeah, a number of the board members had talked about the foundation for a good while, and it probably took us 2 years to decide to do it. We had a company come in and help us some with the development of it.
Great, good.
But pretty much in the last year, we've taken it and pretty much run with it. And again, it's been great to have people like Rayford Vereen or Ed Prince or Harry Thomas, all these people to have weekly meetings to talk about this and to plan it and move forward. And Tammy's been with us now a few months, Tammy Eves.
Yes.
So she's been a very big asset.
390-8215 is her direct line. If viewers want to pick up the phone and call right in to find ways, what are some of the types of ways that if someone was to make a donation that those dollars would be expended? Is it principally for actual physical plan, or will those be going into activities themselves?
Well, there's a lot of options. We're actually going to have some naming opportunities at the hospital where somebody could name an area of the hospital after themselves or after a family member or something, where maybe the lobby might be named or the cafeteria area might be named.
Very nice.
And, of course, there's also that opportunity if they would like to buy an x-ray machine or something like that for the hospital, to donate something like that to the hospital. We're going to have some areas in the new hospital there where we'll maybe have a courtyard where there'll be some naming opportunities in there, maybe something as simple as maybe a paver or a wall, or maybe something they'd like to do to remember a loved one, maybe at a fountain or something like that, something nicer.
Absolutely, Frank.
There'll be plenty of opportunities to help the foundation.
In the different ways that a viewer could make donations, those sound like pretty large donations. You'll take donations of all sizes?
Certainly, yes.
Okay.
We have some information that we're going to show at the after hours here in March of different ways that an individual can get involved.
Okay, very definitely. You know, when you think about, of course, tax benefits, and a lot of viewers, as they wrapped up last year, were thinking about tax benefits, but this is a 501c3 foundation.
It certainly is, and of course there's ways that people can make larger donations through things like stock or real estate and things.
Great point.
And the average person doesn't realize the advantage of that. If you've got a piece of stock that you bought maybe 10 years ago that's appreciated in value 3 or 4 times, you can donate to a foundation and get the full write-off on the day's value and not have to have any capital gains that you're paying taxes on. So there's major advantages there to donate some kind of a good item like a piece of real estate or maybe even a car or a stock or whatever.
That's a very good point. You know, a lot of folks oftentimes are worried if they make a donation that a lot of those dollars will go into administrative cost or into lots of costs and not actually get to the meat of what they're trying to give money to. Is that the issue here with the Laura Seacoast Healthcare Foundation?
No, with Laura Seacoast Healthcare Foundation being local, 100% of the money will stay right here in the 2 hospital systems is where it will stay. There's no administrative fees. There's nothing going to come out of this money. So if you give $1,000 to the hospital, it's going to go directly into where you would want it to go, whether it's part of building the building or what it is. So there will be no administration fees of any kind.
You look forward 5 years, Frank. What is what you hope the Laura Seacoast Healthcare Foundation will have done to make these 2 facilities successful?
Well, I think number one, right now we're new and we're in our infancy. So 5 years from now, we should be going very strong. We should have a very large foundation. Ideally, I think we should probably have 25 members on our foundation so we can do a lot more functions. As far as a dollar goal, I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but it should be a very large number.
Right.
Because Seacoast and Loris both are going to need to expand as we go along with the area growth right here. I mean, the 50 beds is just a start for this community. I hope in 5 years we're looking at building 150 beds is what I think we'll be doing.
Listen up, Frank. I love to hear it. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Good to
have a great trip to Florida tomorrow. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Frank Boulineau, chairman of the Laura's Seacoast Healthcare Foundation. Coming up next. Not 82%, not 85%, not even 93%, 100% of your gift, 100% of your gift will be used to provide quality health services and great facilities. And you heard Frank say it, 100% will be reinvested right back here in this community. When you make a commitment to support the Laura Seacoast Healthcare Foundation, 100% of those dollars will be reinvested right back here. Take the time to learn more about the foundation. Go online to laurashealth.org or pick up the phone, 843-390-8215, 843-390-8215. Take the time, get involved. You heard Frank say it, now's the time.